Hi, my name is Morgan Pascal, and I'm the Development Director at the Abilene Preservation League. Our mission is to preserve historic properties and promote preservation. Having said this, what is historic preservation? Sometimes our office receives phone calls from folks wanting help in repairing their old home. Is this historic preservation? The answer depends on several factors. First, we must ask, is the property historic? The standard definition of a historic property is federally mandated and comprises the following. First, the property must be at least 50 years old. This means that every year, more properties are meeting this criterion as they pass the 50-year benchmark. However, age is just one factor. We don't save buildings just because they're old. Second, the property must also have architectural, historical, and/or cultural significance to our city, state, and/or nation. In other words, does the property have unique architectural value? Did something historically significant occur on this property? Did a noteworthy person from our history live in, work at, or design the property? If you can answer yes to both categories of questions, congratulations, you have a historic property. If you're not sure about your property's history, we'll share how to research this topic in another video in this series. If your property is not historic, we still encourage you to repair and maintain it, as it will still be a worthwhile investment for you and the community. In time, a properly maintained home might even become culturally relevant. So now that we know if your home is a historic property, the second question we must ask is if your repair is preservation. The U.S. Department of the Interior provides standards which are common sense historic preservation principles. They promote best practices that help to protect our nation's irreplaceable cultural resources. According to these standards, preservation is one of 4 distinct but interrelated approaches to the treatment of historic properties. It focuses on the maintenance and repair of existing historic materials and retention of a property's form as it has evolved over time. The 3 other approaches to the treatment of historic properties include rehabilitation, which acknowledges the need to alter or add to a historic property to meet continuing or changing uses while retaining the property's historic character; restoration, which depicts a property at a particular period in its history while removing evidence of other periods; and reconstruction, which recreates vanished or non-surviving portions of a property for interpretive purposes. Each of these approaches to the treatment of historic properties are within the field of historic preservation. Choosing an appropriate treatment is critical and depends on a variety of factors. If you would like more information on these approaches and how to choose an appropriate treatment, you can visit the website that's shown on your screen. It should be noted that preservation, rehabilitation, restoration, and reconstruction are terms often misused to describe the remodeling or renovation of a historic building. These are not the same as the 4 historic preservation treatment approaches. While we encourage the improvement of all properties, we promote adherence to the approaches recommended by the U.S. Department of the Interior. Now that we know what historic preservation is, let's go back to our scenario. Sometimes the APL receives phone calls from folks wanting help in repairing their old home. Is this historic preservation? If your home is historic and you are planning to preserve, rehabilitate, restore, or reconstruct the site, then yes, this is historic preservation. So what's the next step? Whether you have a property that you are planning to preserve, a property that you want to treat, but not through the 4 preservation treatment approaches, or you're simply interested in learning more about historic preservation and how to get involved, we invite you to continue to watch this series, as we'll share why historic preservation is important, what its advantages are, such as its economic benefits, and some how-tos on treating your historic building.